Live from Eyewitness News, this is Breaking News.
We are cutting into programming to bring you breaking news concerning that deadly police pursuit yesterday. A news conference is about to begin at State Police headquarters in Scituate to talk about the situation yesterday. State police cruiser stolen in that deadly shooting. Let's go to that news conference and Commissioner Perry.
Stephen M. Parry, Commissioner of Public Safety for the City of Providence, 54321. We all good? My name is Stephen Parry. I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety for the City of Providence. Thank you for coming. We are going to walk through the incident that happened where Providence police officers discharged and used deadly force. Let me first describe how this investigation in the oversight of the circumstances that lead up to the deadly use of force. So whenever in the state of Rhode Island we have an officer-involved shooting, depending on the jurisdiction in which it happens, there's a joint investigation. So the local police, if it's a state police shooting, the local police joins the state police in the jurisdiction that it happens. When it's a Providence police shooting, the state police join in that investigation. That's a protocol that's been put in place nearly 15 years ago. So this investigation and the overview of the circumstances that led up to officer-involved shooting in the deadly force is being conducted jointly by the Rhode Island State Police and the Providence Police. We had Rhode Island State Police use deadly force. We had the Providence Police use deadly force as well. The Attorney General's office oversees those investigations wherever they happen in the state of Rhode Island. So the Attorney General joined when this shooting occurred, the Rhode Island State Police and the Providence Police. We have body cam on one of our officers, in which we'll be releasing to you. We also have video from the highway system, in which DOT, our Department of Transportation, oversees and manages. And that individual began recording and captured from the beginning of the pursuit right to the end. That tells the whole story about the engagement of the pursuit and then ultimately stopping that vehicle and the use of deadly force by one or more officers. Colonel Clemens will walk you through. We will identify the victim that succumbed to the injuries that afternoon, and we'll identify the passenger, female passenger, that survived in injury and is still hospitalized. Any matters regarding the Rhode Island State Police, I'll refer to the state police for those questions to be answered by them. This is a Providence Police update and a Providence Police initiative that we release our body cam to the public, and that we're releasing the camera system that was recorded that shows entirely the beginning of the pursuit and then ultimately officers' use of force, and of course it was deadly force. At the end of this, you'll see these two videos, and we will give you access by our internet so you can access it electronically. So you need not have to film this. You'll have access once we put it up on our website, and that may take 30 minutes after this press conference. So let me ask the Colonel of the Providence Police, Hugh Clemens, sort of to walk through, identify the victim, the other person that was injured, that was in the vehicle, and walk you through a timeline, and then we'll view the body cam, and we'll view the highway system cameras that were there. And then I'll talk a little bit about the number of officers from Providence and the body cams that were on our officers, and why all 5 of our officers didn't have body cams, and why 2 out of the 3 were not engaged. So let me give you the Colonel of the Providence Police, Hugh Clemens. Colonel?
Thank you, Commissioner. Good afternoon, and thank all for attending. And as the Commissioner has outlined, this is a very complicated situation in that there are many factors involved, so some of which at this early point in the investigation we have answers to, and still some, as you could imagine, outstanding. So I'll try as best I can to walk you through these set of circumstances. So early yesterday morning, about 9 a.m., the Providence Police Department becomes aware via a broadcast that a marked Rhode Island State Police vehicle had been stolen, and the vehicle contained a firearm. The suspect who had stolen the vehicle had been under arrest, and his name is Donald Morgan, born in 1982. Shortly thereafter, we recover that vehicle in the Elmwood section in the city of Providence, off of Potters Avenue on Vineyard Street by Mash Park Street. The vehicle is recovered unoccupied. The firearm is inside the vehicle. No one is apprehended. Approximately an hour later, a Providence police officer, Juan Rodriguez, receives information from an eyewitness on the Antic Avenue that a subject fitting that description, who had stolen the marked police cruiser, was getting into a white pickup truck. He broadcast his information over Channel 1. Shortly thereafter, a few white pickup trucks are stopped in this city of Providence and released immediately, eliminating them as suspect vehicles. About 10:35, Sergeant Jay Kennedy broadcasts on Channel 1 that Cranston PD is attempting to stop a white pickup truck on Silver Lake Avenue at the city line. The truck had been refusing to stop and is heading inbound to Providence. Sergeant Bohm broadcasts on Channel 1 that he is behind that vehicle. Now, I must add that the information that Juan Rodriguez got was that a subject was attempting to get in the back of that white pickup truck. That was information from the witness. Sergeant Bohm picks up the white vehicle that clearly is attempting to elude police, driving in an erratic manner, driving at high speeds, putting the general law-abiding public at risk. The vehicle is driven onto Route 10 North, the full length of Route 10 North, traveling left and right on all the lanes, and driving in a very aggressive manner in the Ford pickup truck that weighs about 5,000 pounds. Up ahead, Providence police officers had been preparing for that pursuit to be coming into the area of 95 North or South. Sure enough, the vehicle goes 95 North. There's traffic that's built up blocking the path of the fleeing pickup truck with the suspects and the police officers attempting to stop it. So minutes later, as the vehicle is caught up into traffic, officers converge on the vehicle. As that vehicle is driving in a very aggressive manner, and we'll show you this video shortly, this vehicle is now being used as a weapon in an attempt to flee, and it is hitting other cars. It is ramming at least one other car and is rocking back and forth. Police officers converge on that vehicle. Police officers, as they are authorized to do by the court, after some moments, feel that there is significant and imminent danger to people on the scene begin to use force and to use lethal force. Several shots are fired by the Providence Police and the Rhode Island State Police. The Providence Police shoot and all those rounds have been accounted for. In total, there were over 40 rounds that are fired. While this is going on, Providence police officers are broadcasting shots fired. The vehicle is trying to run them over, hitting other cars, and rocking back and forth. There are two separate volleys of gunfire. And then the vehicle becomes inflamed in smoke, and the firing, the vehicle stops, the threat is over, the gunshots stop, and police move in. While that is going on, while all that chaos is going on, a Providence police officer heroically gets into the vehicle. Ivan Tavares gets into the vehicle, on the outside of the vehicle, of the female who had been rammed by that fleeing vehicle. So he has the presence of mind to get her out of harm's way, into safety. He pulls her from the vehicle around the side of some other vehicles that had been witness to this, and put her into safety. A very courageous, heroic act, and quite frankly, he saves her. The identified occupant of the driver, who we find as we move into the vehicle, is shot and killed. His name is Joseph Santos, age 32. He is DOA. We later learned today, with an autopsy, he is shot a couple of times. The female in the vehicle, identified as Christine Demers, is shot as well and is presently at Rhode Island Hospital. At this point, the investigation is full steam on scene. We're recovering casings, we're interviewing officers, we're trying to ascertain what video is available, be it body-worn camera, be it cell phone footage, and as the media and the public saw, there were several pieces of cell phone video that was put out in the media. We also have some footage from a body-worn camera, and we also have footage from the DOT cameras. And we believe that footage shows the acts of the officers as doing exactly what we would want them to do in stopping an imminent and significant threat at that moment for the people around the vehicle attempting to flee and being rammed and hit by this fleeing vehicle. So those are the names of the people in the vehicle. Donald Morgan, who stole the Rhode Island State Police cruiser, is still at large. He has not been apprehended. The question may come as to whether he was connected with that vehicle. That is still under investigation, and that still remains completely unknown. However, we believe that we will get there with that information. So, Commissioner, is there something you want to add before we show some footage? Or?
No, so let me just walk through our 5 officers that were involved in the shooting. So as you can see on the video, when we do show it, you know, there are multiple officers from 2 different departments here. Our 5 officers is a Sergeant Paola. He's a 21-year veteran. Officer McGloin, who's a 7-year veteran. Officer Zincone, who is a 22-year veteran. Officer Chris Zeroli, who is a 7-year veteran. And Major Oscar Perez, who is a 23-year veteran. Major Perez did not have a body cam. He's a major, and a body cam is not assigned to the command staff, so that is not unusual. Sergeant Paola did not have a body cam. One has not been assigned. Officer McGloin had a body cam, and that's the footage that you will see. Officer Zeroli had a body cam that was not activated. That officer tapped that body cam button once, and you have to tap it twice in order for it to be engaged. So perhaps, for the benefit of outside media, this Providence Police Department just went into body cams in the last couple months. All officers have not yet been assigned a body cam. We've gone through training, and this is a new piece of equipment, and so we know that it's going to take both time and continuous training. We firmly believe that in a situation like this, it hasn't been on our police officers, and there will be time that they just forget to put it on. And there are times in which mistakes are made where you have to tap twice. So like a firearm, this is a tool that has to be embedded, and then it becomes second nature. Officer Zincone was the 5th officer that had a body cam but did not engage the body cam at all. In the hype of both a pursuit and the apprehension of this individual, we believe he just didn't remember to put his body cam on. So those are the reasons, and the 5 officers that shot, we believe, 20 times out of in excess of 40 shots by both Rhode Island and Providence Police. So we will provide, what's the first video, the body cam? Or the Rhode Island Department of Transportation will be the first film. This is a film in which cameras on the highway have been recorded, and you'll see, and we'll play this again if there are questions. We really want you to have an understanding of what you're seeing here and what our tactics are when we're in pursuit of a vehicle, and what our tactics are when that vehicle is stopped, and then what our tactics are when that vehicle is used as a weapon, as Mr. Santos used.
So this is Route 10 by Union Avenue, where the vehicle is first picked up by Providence. You can see it crossing over west to east. And take a left, Route 10 north. And those are unmarked Providence police cars behind it, and very shortly thereafter, Rhode Island State Police. Several police cars, and you'll see the white pickup coming down the ramp, several police cars in pursuit. Crossing all lanes, left and right, he's clearly attempting to elude police. You'll see different vantage points now. The camera guy does a great job. He goes the full length of Route 10, and eventually will, we don't know which way, here he comes by Dean Street. He's going to go 95 south or 95 north. At the last minute, he decides 95 north. And he cuts in front of that trailer truck, and police just had time to cut in front of it as well. Here he comes. He's not going to take Dean Street. He's going to go down the center aisle, and last minute juts left, 95 north. Rhode Island State Police right behind. He gets caught up in traffic on the ramp on the backside of the Providence Place Mall. And then you'll see him purposely use his vehicle ramming as a weapon. He cuts in front of the truck and then gets caught up. Comes around the ramp, passes cars on the right lane, and here's where it happens. He has nowhere to go. He's blocked at this point. See a Providence police officer coming up in an attempt to get him to open his door. You see him back up there. Rhode Island State Police behind. He's hitting vehicles behind and front. This trooper on the right attempting to get in the vehicle. Several loud commands to exit the vehicle. And now he's ramming this poor woman right here. She praised the Providence police for saving her life. Officers are shooting at this point. If you get a chance, you'll see the woman in the red at some point be taken out by that Providence police officer and taken into safety. She's wearing a red jacket. There she is. The smoke is caused by the vehicle is in drive and the wheels are just spinning, and he's rammed up against that vehicle. The shots have ended, and now officers will move in and attempt. They still don't. The windows on this vehicle, by the way, are completely blacked out. We have no idea who's in that vehicle, if there's weapons, if it's 2 guys, 3 guys, a guy and a girl. Officers don't know. It's completely darkened out. Now they're moving in. You'll see officers getting on top of the vehicle to get the passenger out and the driver. That's when they realize the driver is severely and in the end fatally shot, and then realize the passenger has been shot too, but they're attempting to get her out of the vehicle at this time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, that's the use of force, and that's the apprehension of the vehicle and the suspects, and the rest is just, now beginning that immediate chaotic search and crime scene. And as you can tell, in any situation like this, it's immediate at the beginning, chaos.
So the investigation continues with the state police and the Attorney General's office as well. We have additional witnesses that we're seeking to speak with. And at the conclusion of the joint investigation, then the Attorney General will present this to a grand jury to determine the circumstances and the use of force by police officers from Providence and the state police. We'll open it up to any questions that you may have. I'll just remind you again that any state police questions are going to be referred to the Colonel of the State Police, Anna Sumpico, and some questions that we may not have answers to because we're not yet completed. We as a department, hold on a second, we as a department believe that, and to get footage out and explain the circumstances both leading up to and the use of deadly force was important. That's why we're here today. So I'll open it up for any questions. I can only do one at a time. So hold on a second. Let me just acknowledge, and then we'll get to everyone. Yes.
What do you say to family members who say this was a scared young man who had a suspended license and ran and didn't get what he deserved for that?
Look, we understand that perspective, and our sympathies go out to the Santos family as well. This is very difficult when you have to use deadly force. Unfortunately, those officers that you see on the video believed that there was imminent danger of serious injury or death. And they are trained that way, and as a result, they use deadly force. It's never, I've been a police officer for a long time, and there's not a police officer that I've met that wished to take their gun out. But we revert back to our training, and that's what we see here with probably 25 or 30 armed police officers and less than 10 shot, and approximately 40 shots were fired. We understand the perspective, but when there's imminent threat with a weapon by way of that vehicle, judgment and decisions have to be made, and I applaud the Providence Police for what they did.
Did you
Oh, hold on a second. You're next.
The timeline for Cranston Police Department, when they made that call.
It was, don't have the exact time, but it's within like 3 or 5 minutes. So the call is put out by Juan Rodriguez in our city for a male attempting to get in a white pickup truck within a very short amount of time. 10 minutes tops. Cranston Police come up with information of a white vehicle that they were attempting to stop and had taken off on them and eluded them. So there was a time period where they had lost sight of the white vehicle they were attempting to stop before Providence Police pick up the white vehicle that clearly is driving in a very aggressive, erratic manner, and they believe that to be the vehicle, and sure enough, pursue it.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever confirm if Morgan was actually in that pickup truck, and as you were following it and getting to the point where it stopped, did you still believe that he could be in that pickup truck? A lot of those bullet holes were to the rear of the vehicle, leading to believe that maybe you thought somebody was in the back.
That's all a part of what we're looking into now.
So you haven't confirmed
we have not confirmed that at all.
Or you thought going along that you believed he was in there?
The information that we provided you is the information that the officers had at the time in all those circumstances. So as you understand, every officer has information, as much as information, and then based on that information, the totality of the circumstances in using, force.
Reason to believe that Delta Morgan is armed? Did communication go out after the cruiser was found? Along with that information, was it broadcast that the weapon was still in the cruiser?
We were advised that a state police vehicle that had a weapon in the vehicle was driven off by Morgan. We did not know thereafter if the weapon had been taken from the cruiser or was still there.
After it was found, though, it wasn't broadcast that the weapon was still in
Correct.
the car?
Correct.
Did you feel that the scene was secure enough to begin shooting and not hurt people driving by?
Look, those are the circumstances. We know it's heavily populated with traffic. We have a parking garage in the mall right there. A police officer, that's part of his training or her training, that, the totality of the circumstances, where you are, and putting others in danger of the use of deadly force is all a consideration. So I can guarantee every police officer knew that there was that risk, but the overarching decision was the imminent threat for serious bodily injury or death. Yes, I'm going to get to all of you.
Can you speak more to the white truck, what the circumstances were around it and what the specific call that went out was? Was it for a specific type of white truck, or was it just any white truck?
I don't have the specifics. It was a white pickup truck, whether the make and model was broadcast or not, but it was a white pickup truck. That was broadcast.
One of Providence
We had
officers saw
A witness in the Potters Avenue area, I believe it was Calhoun Street. So in that same general area where the Rhode Island State Police marked unit was found unoccupied, a few streets over, a witness observed an individual fitting the description. It was the guy attempting to get into a white pickup truck.
Did the witness say that that person had handcuffs on?
I believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Christine, is it with a C or a K? Do you spell her last name and age? And then do you have any idea what Josephine Face is clean?
So I'll answer the second question. That's what we're looking at in investigating, why he refused to stop and then used his vehicle as a weapon. We don't know. We haven't made that determination. but we're looking at
Christine,
that.
C-H-R-I-S,
And the last name, please?
D-E-M-E-R-S.
And the age, if you know
35.
35?
Yes. 7? 37. Yes.
Do you know if there's any connection between Morgan and these two people? Is it clear yet if they knew each other in any way, in any type of connection?
We're looking into that. We don't have any evidence at this point that they were or were not connected.
And also, do you have an update on Christine's condition at this point in time? We did have some intel this morning from a family member saying she passed away. I just want to make sure.
As far as we know, she survived surgery and was still in the hospital. Ian?
Do you expect to charge Morgan with manslaughter or some other upward charge for his role in precipitating this?
That's a part of the investigation by the Attorney General's office, this department, and the state police. So we haven't made that determination whether there's evidence to charge. Parker?
Commissioner, the public hadn't seen the video that we just saw. The truck ramming the cars. They see this 40 rounds being fired by officers just unloading on the truck. Did officers make an attempt to disable the truck at first?
Well, as
Or
you...
is this just firing into the truck?
So as you see, they attempted to stop that vehicle and he refused to stop. They, blocked the on-ramp and he had nowhere to go. And as you see, there were several seconds in which he remained there. Police officers ran up to that vehicle, that pickup truck, and tried to gain entrance into that. So they made every attempt to disable and remove the operator and was unable to do so. As you see, he rocking back in reverse and nearly hitting some police officers and then slamming several times into vehicles.
It's he never abandoned his attempt to flee. You could see right up until the very end. And the training is, there is in the officers a perception on the scene, and certainly in mine after viewing and knowing what I know, there is the perception that he is causing a significant and imminent threat to others, to officers, to the general public, and so that they're trained to stop the threat. And he never abandons that attempt to flee and at that point he's using his vehicle in that attempt to flee as a weapon.
Amanda?
All right, so multi-part, I'll be fast. The relationship between the couple in the truck, do you know what it is?
We don't.
Did Santos have any warrants?
Yes, 2.
There were 2 warrants.
What are the warrants for?
Not sure. We'll get that to you.
Or for?
Not sure. I believe one was a domestic.
All right, so 2 warrants. And the last question is, are you testing or his blood for drugs or alcohol, whether he was drunk or high?
We'll be doing, there's an autopsy performed, and the Department of Health will determine all those forensics.
Just to pick up on Parker's point, more specifically, because this is talked about in the public sphere, for example, shooting out tires. Does that play a part in the calculus when a scenario like this unfolds? People ask when someone is shot, why didn't you shoot in the arm and leg? We hear about center mass and the training applied to that. The answer might be the same, that they're trained to eliminate the threat, but can you address that?
Yeah, so there is a misunderstanding, and I've been in law enforcement a long time, and my kids ask me, why didn't you just shoot, and hit the hand of where the gun is held? Look, we're trained, when we use deadly force, it's to eliminate. It's just that, deadly force. And when a vehicle is being used, we have to eliminate that threat, and we continue until the threat is eliminated. The car has stopped, no longer ramming or rocking at all. So that's why you see the police officers continue to fire as that car continues, or that truck continues in a forward motion, although pinned against the car, couldn't go anywhere but spinning the tires with all that rubber. And they continued until that threat was eliminated.
Can you talk
Yes.
a little bit to the search for Morgan in South Providence prior to this incident happening? Approximately how many units were deployed? Was it a clear at that point if he was armed with a gun from that state police cruiser, at which point did authorities know that Morgan did not have a weapon on him from that cruiser itself? Can you talk a little bit about that initial search for Morgan?
So I don't have a lot of specifics, but we eventually realized that the weapon that was in the vehicle had not been stolen by Morgan, that you know, there was a search for him and we continue to look for him. We don't consider him a person that's violent or armed and dangerous. It's a person that stole a state police car or driven away in a state police car, and he was had various charges pending. So he's a wanted person, but he's not dangerous or violent.
If he is a wanted person, not dangerous or violent, good use of tactical weapons and individuals on the south side, again, they're looking for this individual. Can you explain that?
So the timing of whether or not he did gain access to that weapon, you know, I don't know. So look, when you have a person that takes a police car and there's a weapon in that police car, we assume that that weapon was taken by that defendant, and we use all measures to keep our officers safe until such time. And you know, we continue. Look, the safety of our officers is paramount. If it appears that we're, you know, heavily armed, it's because that's how we train, and at the time, that's how we're seeking his apprehension.
And I just want to put in perspective and context that it really is, and we spoke about this yesterday, and we're still investigating whether they are connected, but it really is two separate situations. There's a stolen motor vehicle and a search for a suspect who stole a motor vehicle with a weapon. We later find out he doesn't have that weapon in the vehicle. But the separate incident is a vehicle fleeing and using that vehicle as a weapon, purposely ramming other people who are just going about their business. So it's all about a separate use of force because of the actions of the operator of that vehicle, not because someone who stole the car.
Just going to take a couple more. I'm going to get to you on the hurry. Go ahead.
There was no weapon in the vehicle, right?
We have not determined whether there's a weapon in the vehicle of the pickup truck.
Okay, you haven't determined.
So it's under, yes.
The 20-40 shots, can you explain the difference between the 20 and the 40 shots? Is that just the two volleys?
No. 20. There were two volleys. There were 20 by the Providence police and 20-some by the Rhode Island State Police. But
the tactic of blocking the vehicle, was it flawed by the fact that some public were caught in the middle of the vehicle and the road blocked by officers?
No.
No? I mean,
No.
You had that woman in danger, you had to get her out.
I understand. But those officers believe if he made it up onto the highway, it would have put a greater number of people at risk. A couple more here. Yes, Ivan.
Do you know the condition of the people in the other cars that were hit by the white truck? Were they injured?
The other, so the say it again.
Yeah, in the video we saw that the truck was hitting other cars.
Yes, so she was brought to the hospital. The person that he rammed several times brought to the hospital and released, and there was no other injuries as a result of either ramming or gunfire. Yes.
Where in the police cruiser was that weapon, and could you speak to the search for Morgan? Have there been any other sightings in the last 24 plus
I'll
hours?
refer the first question to the state police because it's their vehicle, and the second question is, look, the Providence police would like to apprehend, along with the state police, this individual, and we'll continue to seek his apprehension.
Have there been sightings, though, and do you believe he's still in Providence?
Look, we're not going to reveal, you know, whether or not we have. I appeal to the public. If you know where this individual is, please let us know because we want to apprehend him, and we'll continue to seek his arrest.
There was an address given out yesterday, but we were told later he does not live there, so does he not have an address in Providence?
He lives in, you know, multiple addresses, so I don't know, and if we did, we'd go and arrest him. So I'm not sure of his residence. Yes.
Were any other vehicles hit by police gunfire?
yes, the vehicle in front of the pickup truck was struck by gunfire
Whereabouts?
in the rear window.
Colonel, what's the duty status of the officers who fired their weapons?
Administrative duty. Last question.
Have you interviewed Christine yet? Is she able to be interviewed at this point?
We have not been able to interview Ms. Demers.
Will you be interviewing her?
We will seek to interview her, yes.
Do you know the relationship between the two of them?
We do not. Thank you for covering this. If you give us, tech guy says give me 30 minutes, so give us a little bit of time.
And you've been watching a live news conference from the Providence Public Safety Complex. That's Commissioner Stephen Perry and Colonel Hugh Clements talking about the deadly police pursuit that took place on Thursday. New since noontime today, we're getting a lot more information. We saw DOT footage of the pursuit of that white pickup truck that started in Providence, went to the 610 connector to the on-ramp on 95. That's when that white truck was blocked in, and you can see by that video that we've been showing, it hit 3 cars. Police went up to the car, and that's when the shots were fired. Also new since noon, we know the amount of rounds that were fired, 40 rounds fired between Providence Police and Rhode Island State Police, and as a result, 32-year-old Joseph Santos was shot and killed. He was inside that truck. We're also finding out the passenger in the vehicle, Christine Demers, was shot. She has been in surgery today. Her condition is not known right now. We also found out new since noon that 3 police officers were wearing body cameras. One of them was activated, and that was some of the video that you saw. Commissioner Perry also said they are still looking for the man who allegedly stole that state police cruiser. His name is Donald Morgan. He is still on the run right now. If you have any information on him, you're asked to call the Rhode Island State Police or Providence Police. Obviously, there's a lot going on. We have a team of reporters working on this story. We're going to bring you the very latest coming up tonight on Eyewitness News, starting live at 5. And of course, you can get information around the clock on our website, WPRI.com. We return you now to the Family Feud.